do the whole thing, but it was a different world then.
Absolutely, been a long time.
Then I did 34 years in the mortgage business, and then here, instead of retiring, I decided to work.
I like it. And then our friend Cindy up here is helping us out with sports technology. Cindy, how long have you had your license? Tell us something interesting about you.
I've had my license for about 4 months, and something interesting about me is that I'm a really great budgeter, so I purchased a small outfit for under $10.
Oh, so cute.
$10.
Good job.
Yes.
It looks great. Super cute.
You can't plan on this stuff. You just can't plan on this stuff. And then does everybody in the back know Camille? We just need to give her a round of applause for everything.
We're gonna start wearing masks for her. I always forget to put my mask on.
You're fine.
It's another topic for another day. Don't get me started. Okay,
Keep our
so
6 feet, right? Keep our 6 feet.
We are here for Real Estate Essentials today, and we're going to go over some tips and tricks on how to really nail a CMA. I was thinking that while we're talking through these, our friendly assistant, Sydney, could walk through some of these steps, and we can build a CMA together, or at least get into one, so you see how the process works a little bit, okay? I also, if you notice, titled this class, CMAs and Other Stuff. What questions did you come into the class today that you would like to get answered? What do we need to talk about? What kind of information do you need to get to feel good about your investment in this time? Anybody? Anything come to mind?
I'm here for what I don't know to even ask. What I don't know, I don't know.
Okay. Are a lot of us feeling that same way? Kind of, we're just here to start having the conversations around this stuff. Yes, it.
What are some of the great tools from the MLS that we should pay attention to?
You know, I will answer that as honestly as I can. I am of a generation before any of that stuff showed up. Okay. I believe there is value in the Cloud CMA if you're willing to take the time to learn how to use it. I never have, because it has a lot of, that particular product tries to take the place of both a listing presentation and the CMA. Those are different things in my life. Those are very different things in my life. Okay, they're two parts of the same conversation, but they're different things. And so I believe there's value there. I just haven't ever learned how to extract that value.
Is it like the iCloud? Is that what that is, or the Apple Cloud?
No, it's
You need storage. You need storage.
Right.
no, it's a web-based CMA presentation. That's all it is. Okay. And like Remind is a great tool if you have no relationships with title companies. There's nothing that Remind can give you that a good title company can't give you for the same price, right? And so I think there's some probably pretty good tracks, that pretty good tools there. That's not what we're here to talk about today. And really, the fundamentals, the essentials are knowing, hey, if all of those third-party sites crashed, if all I had was this website, how can I operate, right? If we had nothing but this. So, leave the question. Does anything come to mind that we've got to talk about before we get out of here?
You know, on the CMA thing, I did a CMA manual, and then I pulled up the Cloud CMA and see what I got, and it was pretty identical. Like I felt like I wasted a lot of time with the other one. So the Cloud CMA kind of did make sense to me.
Okay, yeah, and maybe we should get with MLS and have somebody come in to teach a class on that, or with Cloud CMA. I'm sure there'd be somebody who would like to explain that tool. So, perfect. Okay, well, as we jump into it, let me start with a question. Why do we do CMAs in the first place? What is the point of comparative market analysis?
So we can compare the market and analysis.
You were that stupid, weren't you? Okay. But why do we need to do that?
To show our clients what is out there, what their
Absolutely. So we can help set real expectations with our clients about what their home is worth, or the home they're looking to purchase is worth. As a buyer's agent, we should be doing CMAs as well, right? We want to make sure that our clients aren't overpaying, or if they are overpaying, that they're doing so willingly. Okay? What are some other reasons we want to do a CMA? So,
Not the only thing I thought of.
okay, you know, and this may be splitting hairs, this kind of ties in to the ability to convey that information to our clients, right? If it's one of those, people are like, well, I can't really tell you why, but your home's gonna be worth about this much, right? They're gonna be like, okay, what side of the bed did you just roll out? Where if you go in and you have so-called kept the receipts, you have that information and you can explain that information in a very coherent way. Where's the trust gonna be built, right? And so by going through this process, understanding this process, and then being able to explain it to your clients is gonna help build that trust and set you apart as an expert.
Is it the CMA the only place that you can get the seal sold by being a realtor?
Yes,
Because that won't come up on
That-
True or whatever.
exactly. And that is one of the value propositions that we as realtors have these days, right? 30 years ago, when it all came out in the book, okay,
Right.
before it all went online, people had to come to us for real estate information. They don't anymore, okay? But when it comes to that sold data, that is something that we still have a monopoly on. And so being able to share that data and explain that data, absolutely, it's one of the biggest value propositions that we have, right? People want what they don't have easy access to, they don't have easy access to that sold information. Can I stand on a soapbox real quick for 1 second? Okay. So as we're helping people buy and sell homes, after their transaction is over, they are going to be contacted by Zillow, okay? And it's gonna be this very, very, very official looking mail and email saying you must report what you paid for the property or else, okay? That information is 100% private to the state of Utah. They are under no obligation to disclose that information. The more of that information that our clients disclose, the higher their taxes will be. To put it that way, the more people you tell what you paid for your house, the more people will want a piece of that price, okay?
So in Trulia and all those other things, it doesn't show the sold price either?
No.
It just says
Unless
what
they
was
disclose it.
listed,
Unless they disclose it.
unless they disclose it. Okay.
And that's how Zillow is getting their closed
Okay.
information, is they're going straight to the people that purchased it in the purchase. They
Right.
just send a blank,
How
And
do you
so-
know if they're being honest?
you know, for
So
most,
how does Zillow know if they're being honest?
most people are honest. Especially most people are gonna think that an official looking email from Zillow is gonna get them in trouble if they don't do it.
Are they legally allowed to do that? Like say it's required?
That's a whole other conversation for a whole other day.
In
It's just
Arizona,
like
they
any
post
mass
it.
marketing that you get that looks like, oh, this is a credit card that's only sent to me, or, you know, it's just the
Yeah.
game.
And again, that information, being able to protect that information, not only helps our industry, I really do believe it helps the buying and selling public, again, from exorbitant fees, because as soon as we document what we're paying for these homes, there will be a transfer fee. Okay, as soon as that has to be disclosed legally, there will be a transfer fee. I will bet you any amount of money you want to put on it, okay? So that's why I would say on my soapbox, maybe we could have a conversation with our clients about, after this transaction closes, you may be asked for some very private information about this transaction. You are under no obligation to disclose any of that. And here's the reason why you would not want to. Okay.
I had a conversation like this with the guy this weekend who I wrote an offer up for. And he didn't have me help him with that. And I thought it was odd because, you know, I was like, don't you want to know what things sold for before you put the offer in? And he indicated that he was getting it off the internet. And I said, you can't get sold costs off the internet. So he said something about Zillow. So that's what he's referring to. Do they like have sold price?
So they
They have
position,
estimates.
they position themselves
Okay.
as the one-stop shop for real estate information, even though they have a disclaimer that says, do not trust any of our information.
Okay,
And in that case, it
that's what he was
sounds,
talking about.
it sounds like
Yeah.
you found somebody that knew more than you did, right? Or that knew more than you did.
Oh, I'm sure.
And in that case, write the offer, wish them well.
Uh-huh.
Don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it. Like our job is to counsel our clients, but we can't make them, we don't need to make them do it.
Yeah.
Hey, you should get a home inspection. Don't want one. Okay, no problem. Hey, we should run a CMA on this place. Don't do it.
Okay.
Okay, no problem. Okay. All right. Hey, we're on track a little bit. Let's jump into CMAs. We know why we do them, right? We need to figure out what current market conditions say this home will probably sell for, right? We can't always guarantee that past performance is indication of future success, but it's a pretty good indicator. So when we start looking at a home, we need to consider a few very key criteria, okay? And those are here on this worksheet in front of you. First thing we look at is location, okay? Real estate, we learned this in real estate school. The thing that makes real estate valuable is the fact that every single piece is 100% unique, right? This piece of dirt, well, airspace that I'm hovering over right now, is different from this piece of airspace, right? Like real estate is unique. So where it is the number one criteria on what a piece of property is worth, right? We have to know where it is. First of all, then we need to know, when did this thing sell, okay? If we're looking at data from 1945, that's not going to give us current market conditions, right? When the brokerage was in the other building over the Brown Frown, it was brown and made everybody unhappy, so that's why I got the name. I was doing some prospecting with a gentleman, and he got a call from a client and said, "Hey, come list my house." And he said, "The funny part is I've sold this home, I think 6 times or something, some ridiculous number, okay, since he got started in the early 50s as an agent, okay?" He said, "Yeah, we're gonna list this home for about 300K. He said, "You wanna know what I sold it for the first time in my career?" What, $8,500. He was gonna make more money in commission on this most current sale than the first time he sold it, okay? That's why we need to know, when did this thing sell? Now, if we're talking a span of 50 years, right, that's obviously, but even a matter of a month or two can really affect what the current market value of the home is, right?
Are you talking about that as the home that you're looking at to put on the market? Is that what you're saying?
And what I'm saying as far as when the home's sold, right, if we're trying to figure out what a home is worth today,
Okay.
we need to look at where is it and when were the most recent sales around it, right? If we're looking for comparable properties, we need to find what are those most recent sales to give us the most current information, right? This kind of information only gets worse with age, okay?
What's the, I'm sorry, Kate. What's the miles that we're supposed to look at the location?
Oh, we'll get back to that, I promise. I promise we're gonna come back to that. I know there are blanks on that worksheet, okay? So after where and when, then we start talking about the what, okay? Then we start talking about how big is it, what style is it, how old is it, what condition it's in, and then what's the very last thing on that list?
Bed, baths, et cetera.
Bed, bathroom, bedrooms, bathrooms, garage, etc. Okay? If you take anything out of this class today, it is that those things almost don't matter. Okay? The difference between a 2,000 square foot 1-bedroom house and a 2,000 square foot 5-bedroom house isn't as much as the difference between a 2,000 square foot house and a 2,500 square foot house. Okay? Bedrooms, bathrooms, garage are the jewelry. We start to think they're important because that's what our clients focus in on, right? They walk in, oh, what a beautiful kitchen. Oh, look at all these bedrooms. Oh my gosh, look at this bathroom. Okay, it's the jewelry. When we're doing evaluations, that is the last consideration. So let's run a sample CMA, okay? So Sid, here's what I want you to do. We're gonna go into a search and go into a full search. Boom. Okay. Would anybody like to know what their personal home is worth in a ballpark? All right. Andrea, what is your address?
1061 Bellingham, Bellinghan Court, North Salt Lake.
What's the zip?
84054.
054. Okay, fantastic. So we now know the basic area that we're looking for values in. So Sid, if you would go to the view map function on here, which is on the left-hand side of the screen, little blue guy right there, okay? Absolutely, just jump right in. What we're gonna do is we're gonna start with looking at the neighborhood from a map location, okay? So Sid, if you would go up to the radius tool, which is that circle and the blue on the upper left. Whoop. One more up over to your right there. Go click that. And it's going to open up this little box over here to the right-hand side the screen, okay? Set radius location. Coming back to your question, okay? When we are talking about location, I want to make my initial start at about a half mile out, okay? We may bring that in, we may have to expand that, but we're going to start at approximately half a mile. So if you jump in there and edit that to 0.5 mile radius,
Okay,
right there,
address,
0.5 miles from, and then the address is 1061 Bellingham Court, 84054. Then go ahead and set criteria. Okay, fantastic. So, oh, you guys are in Foxborough.
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. I knew that street sounded familiar. Fantastic. So what this does is this narrows in that neighborhood. And because of the default settings of the MLS, what we see right now with these green dots, those are active listings. Okay. We're not going to worry about those too much right now. So then Sid, if you would, in the upper right-hand corner, click the hide map right there, okay? So perfect. So now we have our basic location covered, okay? Again, we may go in and tweak that based on, you notice that like part of that search area was overlapping Legacy Highway. We may conform that more to fit the neighborhood, depending on the information we get, okay? So now we need to look at date sold. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to come down here to the date fields, okay, and we're going to go into the number of days back. Okay, this is the second thing on here. When it comes to date sold, in a normal, typical market, we look for 90 days back. Okay, that is kind of an industry standard that we don't want to go any older than 90 days. I don't know if that's because the Fed reports on a quarterly basis. I have no idea, but we really want to stay within 1 quarter of business, okay? In this market, if you can go back 30 days and find enough good information to support a value, I think you're going to have better information, okay? Because of the volume and also the scarcity, which is kind of this weird contradiction right now, the newer information you get, the better, okay? So, yep, we're gonna click that over to sold.
oh boy.
Sold, active, okay? So we click that over to sold, and we got it to 90 days back. So go back over to that view map.
Oh no, what the?
You're good, okay? Okay, so what do we do now? We can either go back or refine search, view map. There we go. Okay. Okay, fantastic. So we got a bunch of homes have sold in Foxborough in the last 90 days. I love Foxborough. It's so easy to value stuff up there. The homes are cute. They're all the same size. Like, so easy. Like doing CMAs in Nevada or in Phoenix. Oh, you just draw a block around the neighborhood and say how many homes sold. It's incredible. But here we have these windy streets. All right. Okay, so we know that we have a really, really good sample size, okay? So let's go ahead back to view results. Fantastic. Okay, and then refine search. There we go, okay. So take the actives out of there. And this is sold, perfect. Now we need to talk about square footage, okay? And is it Andrea or Andrea?
It's Andrea.
Andrea, how big is your home?
It's just over 2,000 square feet. I can't remember exact.
Okay, so when we're looking at square footage, we want to look at approximately 10% above and below, okay? So at 2,000 square feet, we want to look for homes that are anywhere between what, 1,800 and about 2,200, okay? If you wanted to stretch that out to 1,750 and 2,250, it wouldn't give me any harm. Yeah, yeah, Marley.
You just count like main floor is the total square footage of the.
Total square footage. Great question. Yeah. In those other markets I just talked about, Phoenix, Nevada, Las Vegas, if you have a basement, you get no credit for it. Yeah. It is like in Utah, we do total square footage. Okay. Great question. Thank you for asking that. Okay, so now we're looking for homes between 1,800 and 2,200 square feet. See what that did to our sample size?
Now we're doing 10.
Dropped it from 35 to 10. Okay, so we know that we're getting closer and closer to this really comparable property. Okay, now we've got to talk about style. Okay, if we were talking about cars, of course you would compare convertibles to convertibles and 4x4s to 4x4s and little ugly cars to little ugly cars. Okay, so we're going to do that in houses too. 2 stories to 2 stories, ramblers to ramblers, little ugly houses to little ugly houses. Okay, we got to make sure that we're doing the same thing. So Andrea, what style is your home?
It says 2-story.
2-story. So in Foxborough, you don't have a basement. So you go in, there's a full main floor, staircase up to a full second floor. Fantastic. So we are looking for 2-story homes only. Okay? Let's play a game. You walk into a house and you have to go upstairs or downstairs. What's that one called?
Split.
That is a split entry. Okay? You go into a house and there's a little floor, then you go some stairs to another floor, and there's some little stairs to go to another floor, and there's some little stairs to go to another floor. What's that called?
Sorry. I don't know.
Okay, that's either a tri-level, a split level, or a California split. Okay,
Oh, I think I heard California.
California split, yeah.
Okay.
It's where like, if you put all the floors, you just shift them half a floor, you'd have like a rambler or a 2-story, but they break.
So is it kind of those 70s homes that were kind of?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
I hate those so
I know,
much.
right?
Like, they're a pain to clean, they're a pain to recarpet, they're a pain to move in and out of. But some people love them, some people don't, right? Okay, so now that we have our style 2-story, let's see what our results tell us. Okay, we got 6, this is great.
Good.
All we really need is 3 or 4. That's all we really need.
So if you have the square footage the same as a 2-story,
Mhm.
or would you still, so if you have like a Rambler style with a basement.
Yeah.
And you're looking comparables, would you look at actually have this, would you look at a 3-story basement level with the upstairs? Would you totally wipe that out?
Normally no, okay? I have seen cases where either the neighborhood has so little turnover
Yeah.
that in order to keep them within 5 miles in 5 years, right, just to get any, that we had to look at more square footage to square footage, okay? And that's why style is about halfway down, because it's one of those things that we maybe can fuck up. Or, let's say that Foxborough, right? Let's say that 97% of the homes in there were traditional 2-stories, okay? And this one is one of that 3% that was that little rambler with a basement, okay? In that case, then yes, I would go to keep it within the community, okay? If it is just that one off, but everything else lines up, age, location, everything lines up, then yeah, we would go that way, okay? And the trick is, like we kind of talked about earlier, we do this so we can communicate this information to our sellers or our buyers, right? And so being able to explain why we chose this comparable is almost as important as the information in the comparable itself, right? Mr. and Mrs. Seller, as you see, your home is this, one of the homes we're looking at is this is why, okay? Because people that want to live in this neighborhood don't care what style of home it is, they want this. What's that, Tracy?
Will the appraiser do that? Would they choose that home more so than right outside of the area?
Most likely, and in that case, and this is maybe a little bit off, let's say that an appraiser comes in and says, no, I don't like that, we're gonna go find our own, okay? We have the right, we have the responsibility to challenge those appraisals. Call that appraiser and say, hey, can you share the comparables that you've done? Did you see this one? Did you see this one? Have you considered this? Okay, did you know this about the subject property? Okay, we can absolutely have that conversation. Okay, and so we do need to go outside the typical guidelines, be able to explain it. Yep. Hey, Mrs. Appraiser, this is why I did it this way.
I'm seeing a lot of houses, not a lot, but I'm seeing houses come back on the market right now for June-ish time period. And usually I'll see a comment that says financing fell through. Some of those reasons are appraisals, right? Do you think 90% of them are? What do you think?
here's what I think those are. I think that in May and June, people were in a panic and they were writing the stupidest offers I have ever seen.
Well, they still are.
Okay. And what I think is that they were going into some of these saying, we're gonna pay you 50, 60, 70,000 above appraisal, with no contingencies, okay? And then when those appraisals come back and they realize that we're gonna pay 600 grand for a home that's worth 4, they're saying, let's lose my earnest money, I'll just walk away, okay? And then they get to report it as a financing.
Do they report that as financing?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so that's what I think. I think that the good realtors are counseling their clients, hey, if you're under contract on a stupid offer, so what if you walk away from the $5 grand in earnest money? Okay, the market's changed. We can go in and buy one at list price and not have to pay over, and we can still get the first time. I think it's strategic default.
The other thing I'm seeing though with that is the realtor is putting it back on the market at that price, at the higher price.
It's a goofy market.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a goofy market. Some homes are selling in a day, others take weeks. And example, it talks about just how goofy this market is. A friend of mine at Coldwell listed a townhome at 380. Okay, didn't get anybody through an open house, didn't get any showing requests for the first week. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Talked to his clients. He said, we're way off on price. What can we do? They said, let's drop 360, 355 right in there. They took a big swing out, 25 grand in price. Held another open house, had 30 people through, and got an under contract at 390. Somebody paid 10 grand more than their original list price because people were interested in it at 360 and not 380.
That's because they're like going and thinking, I don't have the money to go to offer above that.
That higher.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a crazy market right now.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is strategic default. I think that maybe banks are tightening up. So they go from a pre-approval or that pre-qualify to underwriting. The banks are saying, no, we're not quite as willing to do this as we might have been. So, yeah. Okay, where were we? Oh, so we talked about style. Now, and this is another reason why I love Foxborough for this class. Thank you, Andrea. Now we gotta talk about age, okay? Because like, again, with cars, convertibles to convertibles, okay? Then is it a 1955 versus 1965? What year is it? Okay, age matters. Okay, and so in homes, couple of rules. Okay, a couple of weird rules. One thing that, in most cases, all homes before 1945 are considered the same age. Okay, can anybody tell me why that is?
Structure.
What was that?
Structure. They're all getting old, settling.
Until 44, there were no national building codes.
Oh dear.
Okay, and so it's only until we can have a national building code that we can say that these homes are truly.
What year was that again?
44 was when the law was when the first codes went in.
1944.
Yeah, and 45 is when they started. So that's why we use 45. Everything 45 and older is basically the same age. Okay, basically the same age, at least in Utah. Now, if you're in New Hampshire where you got a 1943 and a 1782, that's a different story. But here in Utah, anything before 45 is basically the same age. Okay, then we want to look within 5 years plus or minus for the subject property. Okay, do you happen to know what year your home was built, Andrea?
07.
07. Okay, so we're looking for 2002 to 2012. And wouldn't you know it, most of those homes were built in that window. Okay, we've got a couple of subject properties as well. Okay. And here's where we would go from here, okay? If you would, Sid, let's go back. Let's take the year out of it, okay? Let's just take that out. Okay, now let's view those results. If you would do the select all, the box right there, boom, and let's go age and full. Okay, so as we're looking at these homes, okay, this is a 2-story home in Foxborough, built in 11, okay, 2-car garage, about the same square footage. Like this is basically your house, right? Okay, so as we flip through these, the next question we want to look at, you're ahead of me, Sid. Look on the photos. okay? And we want to get a sense, ooh, let me back up. We are gonna have people that say, hey, can you tell me what my home is worth? And our scripts tell us to do what? How many practice your
I
scripts?
have not.
Okay,
We can give you a free home evaluation through CMA.
but the scripts will be, great, when can I stop by and take a look at your home? Because until we know what the home looks like inside and out, you might walk in and it might smell like a morgue, right? You might walk in and, no kidding, I walked into a condo at 3 Fountain East, and they had done the entire thing in like frescoes and Roman pillars and marble floors, and it was insane,
I
right?
have been in that house.
You know that house?
I think so.
Yeah, creepy, okay? And so as we're looking at it, we would want to have some education on what our client's home looks like. So we can look through these photos and say, okay, is this as nice, not quite as nice, or nicer than the home we're trying to value, right? And so we would go through and say, okay, from what I've seen over at the home, this backyard is about the same. Everybody's got some brown grass right now, no problem, okay? Looking at the brickwork, looking at the interior, how's the paint condition, right? We're trying to get a sense, is this as nice, not as nice, or nicer, okay? So let's X out of here. And in the interest of time, we're not gonna go through all of those 6 listings, okay? I wanna get you out of here on time and leave some time for questions and answers. So we would go through and we would look at all of these. Now, this one, PD, 2-story. Does that look like an attached home to anybody else?
Well, it's like a big town home.
And again, this would be something we want to look at to make sure that our search results are correct,
Yeah.
right? Did somebody try to slide a townhome?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Oh, no, that is a single bed. It's just a weird one. Okay, so we've got a gate, go back to that first one. So,
Weird angle.
yeah, so we've got a gate here for a side yard, and then you can see this little gap between the homes there. So yeah, so that is a detached single bed,
Look how pretty.
just 0 lot lines,
So it doesn't have a front yard, it's not that much?
Almost
It's a
not.
weird fence.
almost done.
Yeah, looks like a.
What's
little
the fence for? I don't understand that. I've never been to the.
It may be at the back of the cul-de-sac.
Got some rose bushes.
Yeah, so we would go through, ooh, I would never leave that bathroom. Dibs. Actually, 2-story on my ranch, I'm gonna build an earth bag structure just for the bathhouse. Like steam room, sauna, it's
It's
gonna be
not
fantastic.
a
Nothing wrong with that. All right, so let's go back to the listings. Okay, fantastic. So let's go back to the refined search. And let's put in that sold or the build date. Let's go to, was it 2012? Go to 2015 on the build date. You're gonna go up. There you go.
Built. Okay,
You're
2000.
200 to 2015. Yeah. The year 200 to 2015. Close enough. Okay.
Bold.
Okay, so now we got 4. Perfect. Let's go to view results. Okay, select all.
Am I going too slow? I feel it.
You're doing great, agent full. And then actually, let's go over to, and here's where we go to the CMA report. So go to set agent full report, just click over to CMA report.
Where?
Left side, down a little bit,
Under reports on the left.
other side,
Other left, okay.
right there. Go to CMA report.
Sorry, guys.
Perfect, okay. So this is where we take that data, move it over. And this is gonna do the same kind of calculation, that like the cloud CMA program will do. Just a little different interface, a little bit different back end. This one doesn't have some of the fancy bells and whistles in the presentation that cloud does. Again, that's why we have our listing presentation to take care of that actual transfer of information besides that, okay? So how we use this page is, first thing we're gonna do is scroll up just a little bit, okay? And we're gonna have to put the information about our subject property. So go ahead and hit populate subject data. Wonderful. So we have an MLS or a tax ID number. You don't have another tax ID number in your house, do you? Okay.
06 271 0407.
Okay, then change that over to tax ID. And there you go.
So to do this, you'd want their tax ID number or.
Refresh this page. Try that one more time. Give me that one more time, Andrea.
06
It says tax ID there.
71
This is not, you just, it's showing the tax ID.
04.
Is that what it is?
07.
Okay, there we go. Then you go. It populated it, there we go. Yeah, populated. Okay, we're still good. Okay, fantastic. And then go ahead and scroll just a little bit and click where it says select and then unverified archive values. Open that. Okay. What that,
Did the MLS, would it fill in all the data there or not?
yes, what that did is that just pulled all of the data from tax data or the MLS for that property.
That's cool.
Now, what we want to do is we want to go through and verify that, right? Has anybody ever like finished a basement and not told the city about it? Like all the time, right? Anybody ever built a gazebo and then they put walls on the gazebo and then they insulate it and then it turns into a TV room and the city just never, like that stuff happens, right? And so we want to verify that we not only have good comparable information over here, but that we're starting with good information on the subject property, okay? So, Andrea, your home, 4 bedrooms? Fantastic. Full baths, that is a tub, shower, sink, or yeah, a tub, toilet, sink.
Yes,
2. Any 3/4 baths? That would be a shower, toilet, sink. Any half baths? 1 half bath, okay? So right now, you're not getting credit for that. Let's throw that guy in there, okay? Fantastic, okay? One thing you're gonna see here is it doesn't have our total square footage in there, or our by floor square footage. For some reason, that information didn't come over, okay? So here's what we do. We're gonna guesstimate at it, okay? We're looking at most of these homes are 1150 square feet, 839 at the bottom, okay? So let's put in there to get the 2236, put 1200 on the top and 1000 on the main. So level 1 would be 1000 or half.
it's not that far off.
Perfect. And then add 1236 on top. And that gets us back to our 2236, okay? Reason we want to know what floor the square footage is on. Who can tell me?
It's more expensive to be upstairs.
Absolutely. Basement square footage is valued at a different rate. Upstairs square footage is valued at a different rate. Okay, we want to make sure that we are looking apples to apples as closely as we can. Okay, perfect. Then we have our year bill, okay, 2007, you confirm that. Wonderful. And do you happen to know, do you have a garage?
Yeah.
Okay, how many cars?
2.
2 cars, perfect. Okay, so now we have a better understanding of what this home actually is, okay? Then go to create CMA packet, if you would, Sid. Then that should open there, we go. And then start scrolling down until you find, oh, that's not gonna scroll.
Shall we download and then try?
Yeah, print that, print the comparison report on the left hand column.
Left.
Comparison report right there. Okay. When Yeah.
Loading, please. Thompson, yourself.
okay, here we go. So this gives us the breakdown. Okay, these are our comparative properties. Okay, we have one on Fox Hollow, one on Kettering, one on Stonehaven, and the subject proper on Bellingham. Okay, current MLS number, so the MLS number that we had, their status under that MLS number, list price, sold price, days on market. What do we see about days on market up there in Foxborough right
Not very long.
now? Man,
Yeah, that's amazing.
yeah, 3 days, 2 days, 5 days, like those things are flying, right? Okay, then we went through and we can see that ours is a 4-bedroom home, we're comparing to a couple of 3s and a 4, okay? These numbers off to the side. Number of bedrooms, our subject home is 4 bedrooms. The 1,000 That is what this market says a bedroom is worth. Okay, and that's why I said bedrooms and baths are pretty much the last thing we want to worry about, because they're not valued that high. Okay,
I have a
And so-
question.
yeah,
On the bedrooms, is four and there's $1,000. $1,000 out, is there a plus or minus or
Okay.
how is it?
so in this
Right there, yeah.
that amount is simply saying this is the adjustment amount, okay? Each bedroom is worth $1,000.
Okay.
When we look at the comparable columns,
Yes,
this
how
home
much?
only has 3, so we add 1,000 to that home's value. Where this one has 4 bedrooms, that value doesn't change. Okay? Again, we look at the full baths, this one's got 2, this one's got 2, this one's got 2, no value adjustments. No 3/4, look, that half bath makes it consistent across the board, right? The fewer of these adjustments you see, the better. It means that we have really good comparable properties. This is the perfect CMA, okay? I will never do one in like Holiday for one of these classes again.
Use this one.
I don't like looking at that stupid photo. It is not good, okay? And then as we come down, we start looking at the square footage, okay? Again, our square footage, $85 a square foot is what they make that adjustment at. So this one's a little bit smaller, so it gets a $15,000 credit. Again, a little smaller, $15,000 credit. These are all a little smaller, so those homes get a credit to match those values, okay? Go ahead and scroll to the bottom, where it said, right there, perfect, okay? So, again, we do it with finally garage, carport, and acreage. Okay, again, because you have a .11, this one's bigger, so it gets a subtraction. Okay, these one are a little smaller, so they get a little addition. What this tells us is that based on these 3 properties, okay, adjusting for the slight differences in square footage and things like that, if I was going to list your home today, Andrea, I would suggest we hit the market at $495 and expect to break $500.
That would be amazing, because
How
last
many
year we
more?
got it for just over 4.
Yeah.
Wow, that's $100,000, girl.
So that one was easy. Okay. Yes.
What if, the interior is just
Ooh, that's a great question. Okay. What if this wasn't the home you live in? Okay. What if this is a client's home
But it's like the same home, the others aren't, but
and we walked
they
in
just have,
and they just decided that
it's a
they
bachelor.
let's go even worse than that. It's a hoarder
Okay.
and there's like dead cats in the corner.
Oh my
There's
God.
like, okay.
Yeah.
With that, we can go and say, if your home looked like these others, it would be worth this. We now have to backtrack how much it would take to get it there.
But what if they don't want to get it there?
Okay.
What if they're saying,
Sell it as is.
this is what I got,
Oh,
I
no,
don't
no,
have
no,
the
and that's
time.
the thing, we don't have to get it ready, we just have to price it appropriate for what it is.
So how do you figure that
So let's say that this home was worth 500 in normal condition.
out? Right,
And we can go in and say, this is not normal condition, this is not normal condition. Okay, that's where it would take some, that's when I would recommend asking for help from somebody that has seen that kind of stuff. Because what we would need to do is think of it as like how a flipper is gonna think of it, right?
right,
What are they gonna want to put into that project to bring it back to full value? What kind of cost is it? What kind of profit do they want to make? That. And so we say, okay, great. A prime example, the home that I grew up in, my parents didn't take the greatest care of it. After my father died, my mom did a worse job of taking care of it. Okay. Open market, that home was worth $265,000. Okay. We sold it for $130,000. Okay. And so that's how we got to that price. We talked to an investor. And he said, open market, this is the number. You know that as well as I do. I said, yep, we both have real estate licenses. He said, this is my budget, this is my profit margin, this is what this looks like, this is what I can write you a check for $130,000.
So how did you convince your mom that her property was that bad?
Oh, she was shocked. She was shocked that it was worth that much.
Oh, she was
I
like,
don't want
She was
to-
overjoyed. Yeah. Actually, we partnered with that investor, so he wrote her the check for the 130, and then they split profit 50-50 after the first 10,000. And then he actually paid me a referral fee just for putting it up, for connecting the dots. So yeah, so my mom made about 30,000 more than she would have. I made 10 grand that I wasn't expecting, and he made 50 or 60 grand. So it worked out for everybody.
That's great.
Yeah. But that's how you do that. This is establishing normal market conditions. And part of that conversation is, yeah, ideal world, normal conditions, your home's worth 500,000. It's going to take at least 100,000 to do that, and people are going to want even a deeper discount on top of that for their time, their effort. Yeah. So just the home at 350.
Can we say what happens if her home, the air conditioner is broken and she doesn't want to put in a new air conditioner? Like, how would you adjust that on there, can you?
The conversation I would have about that wouldn't be about value. I would say it would be on the ability to sell it. That
There's no way to see.
if a broken air conditioner is the most glaring sign of deferred maintenance, what else is wrong? I wouldn't attempt to sell a home right now with a broken air conditioner without a huge discount.
So I've sold and bought a lot of my homes. But things that we would do is like, we would have someone come in and give us an estimate, what it would cost, like we had a swamp cooler. So what would it cost to central area kind of thing? And then we would have that stuff and say, this is what it is, and we will give you this kind of credit.
Yeah.
Negotiating, I guess. Is that.
Yeah, and really it's something like that. That is functionally obsolete. Like to have a home that has, I didn't think I would use that term since real estate school. Functional obsolescence. Oh my gosh, I love that. Yeah, that would be something that to have a swamp cooler on top, that's not a problem. But to have a broken air conditioner just sitting there, that to me, I would talk to those sellers about.
That's when it gets awful, they have their dad living in it.
Get a credit card, fix it, and then we'll put it on the market down. Yeah, that's how I am. From a getting the listing done. From a value point, then yeah, you just okay, air conditioner's gonna be $5,000 plus somebody's gonna want a little extra on top of that. So we better discount this home $7,500. Yeah. Fantastic. So what do we do if we're not looking at Foxborough, right? If we are looking out there in some of these other neighborhoods that aren't quite as commodities, right? So when it comes to location, so let's say you go through all these criteria and you're at an impasse, you just don't have enough good information, okay? Come to location, expand that search out, go another quarter mile, okay? Don't make huge steps. We don't want to go, okay, we couldn't find anything in the first half mile, so we're gonna go out to 5 miles, okay? Scoot that out maybe a quarter mile at a time. Again, location, 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 okay? When it comes to the date sold, work in 30-day increments, okay? If you can't find anything in 90 days, go to 120. If you can't find anything in 120, go to 150. If you can't find anything in 180 days, then we gotta start looking at the other criteria for sure, okay? Square footage, again, told you, plus or minus, if you need to go, I would say go soft, okay? Once you're at your 10% thresholds, add or subtract 100 square feet at a time to really find those closest comparables. Square foot, besides location, square footage is the biggest indicator of value. And so we want to find as close as we can to that value. Yeah.
What were the original numbers for square foot?
10% plus or minus.
When do you look at price per square foot?
Never.
Never.
That's like buying a car by the pound.
Okay.
Yeah, makes no sense to me.
But agents do that all the time, don't they?
Only because the buying population has factored onto that, seen as an indicator of a good deal or not. I personally coach my clients that we don't talk about price per square foot. Okay, it's like car by the pound. We got to talk about what are you getting for that car by the pound. You know, Hyundai is going to be $35 a pound, Mercedes is going to be $700 a pound. What are you getting for that? Yeah. So that's how I talk about it.
I still don't understand, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't get that either.
Okay, so two homes of equal size, okay? If one is more expensive per foot. Why? Okay, is it a nicer property? Just looking at the price per square foot doesn't give us anything. Okay, it's like looking at the weight of two individuals and trying to make a judgment call on which one's better based on that alone. Okay, there are other factors that play into that way more important. Okay, so it's like, yeah, these homes are both 2,000 square feet. This one's 200 square foot. This one's 210 square foot. Okay, why? I don't understand that. Right?
So like if that one had hardwood floors.
Exactly, and one has hardwood and solid surface countertops and a recent remodel, and the other one is still builder standards from 25 years ago.
Or big picture windows. I don't know.
Right, it had exactly, if somebody had gone through and taken out all the crappy aluminum frame single pane windows and put in triple pane windows with box shutters.
So it's
Right.
basically just a big math problem. You're gonna have to-
Exactly, like price per square foot is a result, it's a result, not part of the calculation, at least in my opinion. Yeah, because there's so many other things that go into it, so many other things go
Right,
into it.
okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yep, okay.
Thank you.
So square footage, go up or down, 100 square feet at a time, okay? When it comes to the style, only if you cannot find other options do we start looking at other styles, okay? And at that point, it don't matter, okay? As long as it's not like a TP versus a mansion, you're gonna be okay. But if we're talking the normal ones, ramblers, 2-story splits and tries, it's okay to stay with that, okay? Or bungalows, cottages as well, okay? What you consider a normal little house, okay? Then,
I'm sorry, guys.
yeah, no, that's why we're here.
If,
Hold on, we're gonna take a vote. Is anybody tired of Tracy asking questions?
No.
Cool.
So if, in that block radius, that mile radius or something, you don't find, a rambler, you know, and all they are, like a 2-story kind of thing. Would you then go out further to look for the rambler, or would you then make accommodations?
I would go out a little further, then go a little bit older in the sale, then go a little bit in the square footage, then see what happens, okay? Because that's when we hit style again. And then maybe go back and do that adjustment a third time, okay? Then go out another quarter mile, a little bit in square footage, a little bit older in diesel. I would try to keep the style as consistent as you can, simply because of how appraisers think.
So appraisers kind of think style,
We'll be trained.
Yeah, because
Right.
and they're gonna see the same information that we do,
right?
and so we kind of gotta think the way they do. Yeah, so you're welcome. Okay. And then bedrooms and baths. Keep it within a couple. Like, I have no heartburn over using a 4-bedroom or 4-bed home compared to a 6-bedroom home, okay? If you do find what I call a polygamous palace, when you have a 3,000 square foot home with 12 bedrooms, y'all know they're out there. You're gonna list one someday. Okay, those are kind of unique, and in those, fall back on location, square footage, condition. Okay, like if we find those crazy unique ones, that's what we have to do. Okay, couple things I want to say. One thing I forgot to mention on location. Okay, as we are making that search bubble, right? That search bubble. If this is like I-80, okay, let's not look over here, okay, because that is a hard barrier in neighborhood, right? Or if like this is 700 East, okay, we're not going to cross 700 because everybody knows that homes on the east side of 700 are worth more than on the west side of 700, okay? And so as you're looking at that, you can also shave off some of those edges, or if that neighborhood continued up to here, you could, we'll take that off, we'll put some space up there. Again, you could look for those as you're massaging that location. Okay. Okay.
So you use that other tool, not the radius. the one
Yep,
that you
exactly.
throw off.
Yeah. Or you can use the radius and then just uncheck the ones you don't want. There's a couple ways to do it. Okay. And then the final thing on condition, like we were saying, if everything checks out except condition, that's really a wholesale property, right? And the thing is there, we've got to get some information from contractors or investors to say, we know what they call ARV is, after repaired value, okay? We know what the ARV is. That's what our CMA number is. What is an investor willing to pay with that ARV? And that's how we would price it out. Okay. So if you run into those are great deals, okay? I'll tell you the first person you should go talk to. Go talk to Alan Walker. He'll probably tell you how to run the numbers and he'll cut you in on the deal because he might pick it up and do it himself, okay? So if you find some of those more difficult ones, bring them in, ask the questions. People will help you with them.
Who's Alan Walker?
He is Origin Real Estate. He's just a door down. He is part-time real estate agent, full-time investor. Yeah, he's usually working 3 or 4 of his own flips. He owns 15 or 20 doors. He's going to be, his goal is to be worth 10 million by 50, and I think he's on his way. Awesome. Okay, so we are out of time. It's 12:01. We've been here 60 minutes. Any questions? Is there anything we got to talk about before y'all head out and get some calories in you?
Calories, carbs.
Oh man, I need a cheeseburger in a bad way. All right, well, thank you all for being here. Yes, Andrea.
This is just like a side question, but like, if you're in a residential area and you have a non-conforming duplex, how do you talk about that another day? And I know it's gonna be long, but
I would know. I would simply go with cap rate.
what?
A cap rate, capitalization rate.
Oh, gotcha.
Are you familiar with that?
Really?
Yeah. Cap rate is, what is it? So net operating income
I vaguely remember in school, but no, I don't
divided
remember.
by cap rate equals value. So if you, so for giggle, so the NOI would be monthly rents minus vacancies. So let's say that we get 2,000 a month in rent, okay? So that would be 24,000 for the year. So divide 24,000 by 0.8 or multiply it by 80%.
Well, that's good, sorry.
24 by 0.8.
Monthly rent divided by,
What'd you just say?
So,
Three.
yeah, what was it?
3, did I hear that right?
No,
Oh, 2,400.
2,400.
300.
Okay, so our expenses, that 80 per, that's the 20% for vacancies and expenses, we take that off. So it'd be 21,000 for the gross operating income, okay, gross operating income. Okay. Then we take that, divide that by, how do we do that? How do we do that? I'm gonna have to look at this.
Yeah.
I forget how to do it.
But
Yeah.
I remember what. we
Yeah.
talked about.
I think we divide that by our cap rate, so like 5.5, and then we would, yeah, divide 210 by 5.5. Or 210, or 21,000 by 5.5.
Percent.
Yeah.
1155.
We're multiplying what we should be dividing or something. Tell you what, how about we figure that out and I'll shoot y'all an email or something. Come see me if you got questions. I apologize. Thank you for being here, ladies. Oh, hey, one side note. I know this company was founded by a guy, I know a lot of CEOs are males, but this is a female dominated industry.
No,
Don't-
it's not.
Oh my God, it is.
What?
why am I only working with men?
This is the first class that where I've only been.
We are,
Women.
this is what normally happens. And so where I'm going with that is step into it, understand that
Step into it.
us here with Neighbor Voices, we're here at your leisure, and so just go have fun with the business.
Yes, my.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Are there more women?
Very good.
What was that?
There's more women realtors
Oh,
than
yeah.
men?
Yeah.
The average realtor is a 50-year-old divorced mother of 2.
Oh, wow.
Lovely. I love it.
I mean, as long as you can avoid divorce.
This was very.
Unavoidable.
From the, MLS.
Oh, really? Thank you.
You go there, yeah.
Yeah.
It's where you did this, so you thank you.
I'll take that.
That one was on Tuesday, it's way better than, but I got a CE credit.
Oh,
So that was helpful.
you know, I need to quit screwing around and get my CE certification.
That would be helpful for all of us.
Yeah. Oh, is this recording? Were we live?
Hey, what do you know? Hi, everybody.